All right. Kind of going a little crazy there, but that's intentional. You know what? I forgot to add the chords to this. So let me see. I'll do it. I'll do it for Monday. I can write out the chords up here too. Let's see. Let me do another. And keep in mind it's in 3/4. So it'll be chord slash slash, which the chord counts as one strum or beat, and then the slash counts as another. Let's see. Okay. So it's gonna be G. Okay. So first thing I'm gonna do is make this a lot smaller, and then I'll go from there. Oops. I don't even know why that's an option. Okay. Do I put a space in between every one of these, maybe? Yeah, like I said, I'll do this later. I don't think it's critical to have that. We're not thinking so much about chords yet. When I start to do, when we start to learn how to harmonize this melody, and there's a couple of reasons to harmonize it. One, so that you can play the harmony, you know, with the melody. So like, things like that. I got a tune, but you know, you can do thirds, you can do sixths, you can do fifths. You might do a combination of things. I don't like pure parallel harmonies when I'm singing. I don't like them when I'm playing. It's a pure parallel harmony would be just nothing but thirds. And the thirds wouldn't work on this anyway. So if I harmonized up a third on every one of these, it would sound kind of weird. Or if I harmonized down a third, which essentially is creating a sixth. The opposite of a third is a sixth. So the inversion of a third is a sixth. If I did that, same thing. You're going to want a fifth every now and then, or a fourth. You're not going to want to do a pure sixth all the time. If I did pure sixth, it would sound like. Probably sound better. But there are times where the note that you're adding in harmony is not correct for the chord. Like for the very first one, it's not a D chord. It's not amazing, amazing. It's just a pickup. So I would probably just play like a G down there. But anyway, we're going to talk about that later. Okay. Before I get too deep into teaching, I want to make sure we have enough people here to justify starting. Not that you don't count, but you're on the way to counting. We got 17, 7 likes already. That's preposterous. What's to like? Okay, let's see. How are you, Tom? I am only here for a while. A Zoom meeting at. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want you to be late for your Zoom meeting. Are you wearing pants to your Zoom meeting? You know, Pepper, you used to have to confirm my pants, right? Does anybody confirm yours when you do Zoom meetings for work or for school? Brian, what's going on? Bruce, thank you for being here. John in Louisville. Pepper's in Alabama. Pepper, you grew up in California. Are you starting to get a Southern accent, or are you resisting really hard? That's got to be really difficult to resist. Although I imagine if you were, 12, moving to Alabama, it would be really difficult. But a little later in life, it might not be so bad. Let's see who else. Oh, hey, Brian Harkins, what's going on? Brian, you probably told me 5 times where you're from, but I haven't remembered. Holly is, I know, up by Yosemite, or as I called it when I first moved to California, Yosemite, until I was watching cartoons and I heard Yosemite Sam, and I went, let's see. Jack Lloyd in the house. I knew a Jack Lloyd, but with 2 L's. And like his dad or grandparents owned Lloyd's Bank or something crazy like that. Like a bunch of money. Joseph Finley. Good to see you. Finley, is that an Irish name? Sounds like an Irish name. AJ's in the house. Good morning, AJ. Good to see you. Lena's in the house. Good to see you, Lena. And Brett Houston is back. Guitar Dog, good to see you again, sir. Yes, TGIF, although I got to work all weekend, so Fridays are like I said, I need to have a day off. Well, I'm actually getting a weekend off in a couple weeks, so that'll be nice. Let's see. At the end of the month. Sham, what's going on? SAC, DLG. Not too thrilled about calling you Sack, but okay. Just saying. All right, I think, Osusu. God's will. Osusu, God's will. Where are you? Where are you located? That's a great handle. I love that. You're Scottish. Okay, so sorry, I probably insulted you and your entire family line going back centuries. I'm so sorry. So what we started talking about on Wednesday is basically musicality and embellishments. My bookend, as I call them, the point I want you to walk away from is, and this can apply to the pros. And there's a few. Becker's a pro, I know that, or at least he's making part of his living playing guitar. The real temptation when you get into the studio is to just they hand you a piece of paper and play what's written, and you know. But if they wanted that, they could have just done a guitar sample. Heck, they can even do. They could do all that with a guitar sample too. Part of what they want when they're calling you to play something is sometimes they want you to play exactly what's written. And it depends. If it's like an arpeggiated thing, you don't really have a lot of embellishments. Too many embellishments you can do. But a lot of times what they want you to do is to kind of interpret it and then put your little musical stamp on it. Years and years and years ago, I didn't think I had a sound. I didn't think, because I just thought I just studied all. Oh no, we're buffering. Dang it. I'm seeing red, but we'll see what happens. See if it stays. But years ago, okay. Good to see you. Yeah, your name sounds familiar. I've worked with some Nigerians in London called the Beat Freaks. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Beat Freaks. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. So I'm just waiting for the buffering to stop. Let me do a speed check real quick. So years ago, I'm doing a session for this young Latin producer, and in my whole life, I've studied different guitar players. I can sound like somebody, kind of. I can kind of sound like George Benson, or I can kind of sound like Wes Montgomery or Jeff Beck, or different, guitar players through the years. Easy's in the house, and so I didn't think I had a sound, because I really was trying not to in some ways. I was trying to sound like whatever they want, whatever the whoever was hiring me wanted me to sound like. And there would be times where I'd be doing shows where we'd be doing 20 songs and I'd have to sound like 20 different guitar players. So that was, kind of the challenge. And I kind of enjoyed that challenge. But one of the things you miss out on when you do that is you don't develop your own style, or you don't think you do, but you do without knowing it. And so I'm doing this young producer. I'm working on this Latin pop track, and he has me over, and he goes, I said, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, Strahlify it. We'd worked together before, and we'd worked together. He was an assistant on a couple projects that I worked on, and it was the first time I'd ever heard that before, Strahlify it. And I'm like, yeah, he goes, just do what you would do. What do you think you should do? And I'm like, oh, well, okay, maybe I'll do this. I didn't realize. Musketeers. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, my download speeds are fine. I don't know why it waited until I went to the window, but okay, hold on a second. I'm going to let it do its test. Okay, I will do that right now. In fact, the Discord link is actually in the description of this video, so that's for me the easiest place to find it. See, oh man, we're struggling with the upload again. Yeah, I know it's buffering because of the stupid. It's on my end, people. It's not you guys, so don't. Unless you have to reboot. Oh, come on. Sorry, just waiting for the buffering to stop. It's horrible for you all. It doesn't affect me at all. I just keep talking, so, which I can keep talking. But the so what we're talking about is that when I play it, the melody with no embellishments, not even vibrato. It's not really music. It's not music until you put some personality into it, some of you in it, some heart, some, you know, and personality is kind of another word for musicality. Like somebody may say, they may not know the word musicality or embellishments or anything like that, but they may say, hey, can you make it more slidey? What the cam setting? Yeah, but it's my upload ping. It's my upload speed. It's literally, and now my download speed is jacked. I think we're having problems here in California right now. Let me refresh this. I fully expect to get an email from Spectrum saying we're having problems. I'm showing 14. I've lost everybody basically. Yeah, my download is in the 20s. Usually it's in the 40s or up to 100. So we'll see. Yeah, upload is not even 1. So we're definitely buffering. And again, it's at my end. Oh, it says 0. Leo, I think I'm going to shut it down. I may shut it down and then just continue to check my upload speed and see. Yeah. Let's see. John's asking me a question. Tom, the 6th is played below the note. Generally, if you're going to harmonize a 6th, you can do a harmony above it, a 6th, but it doesn't make any sense, you know, musically, really. So in other words, like that. Now, sometimes, like I said, sometimes you're going to, and we're going to get to this. So let me see your questions. It's played below the note. It's the 3rd, right? Let's see. E, example given, 2nd string, 8th fret, G note. All right, hold on a second. Fourth string, 9th fret, exactly. And the way, you eventually get good at finding, 6th, but the way you can find it is, in that case, and again, we're going to talk about this in coming weeks, or coming lessons on this subject, but you find the 3rd and you take that 3rd down an octave, and that's the 6th. All that, that's all 6th. Sorry, what was Zach saying? Nice. Let's see. Sorry. What's the question that Zach has? I missed that one. Sorry. Oh, here. Sorry, I'm just looking for Zach's question, but oh, here we go. Hey, Tom, I have a question. I'm getting my electric guitar in 5 days, and my cousin gave me his classical guitar for now. My fingers won't be able to reach some of the frets, so I can play chords. Any solution? Well, electric guitar will be a little bit easier than a nylon. A classical guitar's actually got the widest neck generally. And if you, and what Becker said, you can start out by playing, capo at the 7th fret, making shapes, and then kind of slowly move your hand down, move the capo down maybe every week, drop a fret, and see if you can make make the shapes. Some chords are just going to be a struggle, bar chords, things like that at first for everybody. One thing I didn't really talk about, and I think it was Holly that mentioned this, but when one of my most popular videos is that darn F chord, and everybody struggles with the F chord. Well, one of the things too you can mess with is moving your elbow, you know, because look how much my hand moves when I move my elbow. You see that? I wish I'd brought that. I talked about a lot of other different techniques, but I didn't mention the elbow, which is just funny because I probably use my elbow more than I realize. And so, you know, sometimes bringing your elbow in helps, sometimes pushing your elbow out helps. It just depends sometimes on the chord. Both in and out have a different effect on your hand and your hand placement. You know, obviously, the further up the fretboard you are, the more your elbow is going to be in against your body. So, get hit with ads. Weird. Maybe because it's rebuffering or something. I did turn on ads, but it shouldn't be like all the time. I didn't know that it did ads during the live stream. That's kind of weird. I figured they put ads in when you first logged in and then when you rebroadcast. And the other day they did that every 5-minute ad kind of thing. So I had to go and take it out, take them out. But I think we're still struggling here. Well, it says green on my OBS, so I think we're okay. Oh yeah, yeah, we haven't really talked about vibrato yet. That's not even. We did talk about vibrato in earlier lessons, I think. Okay, so so yesterday we went through, and the reason I have the scale written up there is because because I want you to know what note the notes on either side of the note that you're playing, and those are going to be your 90% of the time your embellishment notes. And I might do wider notes than that, but in other words, no matter what note you're on in that scale, okay, over here, the G scale, all right, boop. No matter where you are on that, the next note above it or the note below it are both a second away, either a major second, which is 2 frets, or a minor second, which is 1 fret. So you're really only, using seconds to embellish. Oh, Michigan. Oh, uh-oh. Big Ten. Sam. Okay, so like I said, when we went up to that B note, we slid from the A note, and that A is right next to B. I could have slid from. No, I don't live in Michigan, so I don't need a sled. I could have slid from the G to the B. Okay, there's a couple things. One, that's not very common, so it doesn't sound like something that would be done generally. The other thing is when you're sliding that far, you're taking a risk that you're going to either undershoot probably or overshoot sometimes. So you might go, like that kind of thing. So like I said, when I heard back in the 70s, maybe 1980, I heard Chuck Mangione play the national anthem during the World Series. He lipped into all the high notes because he wasn't sure he was going to be able to get to him, so he wanted to make sure he did, and he kind of lipped or slurred into him a little bit. So okay, so we did some yesterday. We did some slides, hammer-ons, things like that. Well, we haven't talked about hammer-ons too much. Okay, now we can also do this instead of sliding to a note. We can take the note and we can do what's called a well, so yesterday, or I mean Wednesday, we mostly went below a note. No, we came from above sometimes, but you could do the opposite of what you. So in other words, remember I think we did that, or I could slide into that G. You could also go down. It sounds a little weird, but so what I'm doing is I'm starting on a note that's above the note I want to go to and sliding down to it. And I'm kind of using it as a grace note. I'm going pretty quick on it. I'm not sitting on that note very long. But see, let me do the whole melody this way so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Okay, it sounds kind of funny because I use it every single time. I might use that device, that embellishment device, once in a melody. And the thinking is that it's kind of a fall into a note rather than a slide into a note. Sliding is more obvious and more common on guitar. So it's definitely one of those devices that you wouldn't use as much, but also it's a little bit more surprising when you do. I don't really like it on that first melody. Don't like it so much there. But I like it on the B. You go to C and you can either pull off C to B, right? Or slide it. Or I could do right? Now we haven't talked about bends yet. That's what I would call a release bend or a reverse bend, where it's a little see right there I wasn't even in tune. The hard thing about a reverse bend is you kind of have to know your guitar pretty well, because you're going to pre-bend it without hitting it, so you're not going to know where you are. See, I'm sharp, flat. And usually it's kind of a device you use pretty quick, so you're not going to sit on that high note very long. I wouldn't go, right? That would be a little bit much. Okay, so John had a question about the A form bar chord, using 3 fingers over the strings to bar the ring finger over those. You could use a ring finger. I mean, I early on back in the 60s or 70s, that's kind of why people called it the double bar chord. I don't find that very easy. I prefer to do this because I feel like it gives me more options. But yeah, you can do that if you want. Or I'm more likely to use my pinky. So yes. Just check my tune real quick. Okay, I think we're not buffering now, which is good. I don't know. The speed changed. Upload test error. See, that's not good. But yeah, so I can tell it's already better. All right, so we're getting some of our viewers back. So we did the slide in most part. Now what we've done. I should probably write down what we've done so I keep track of it. But we can go. Let's continue going above the note, but we're going to go above and back. So in other words, see, that's like I said, that's a device you might use on one of those melody notes, but not all of them. Obviously, you wouldn't use any device on all of them. But we can do what's called a mordant. A trill would be this, like that's a trill. When you do a lot of those hammer-ons and pull-offs, okay? And we're gonna work on that right now. But we're gonna do a mordant, which is just one hammer-on, one pull-off. So it would sound like this. Okay, and that one you will use a lot. That's a really good one. The trill one, you'll use that for other purposes, but if you're doing like a Hendrix thing, there's times where, you know, you're just like... You know, get that kind of Hendrixy vibe. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, they would do those kind of hammer on, or those kind of trills all the time. But a Mordant technically is just one trill, so it's like a trill. So that's all I'm gonna do. So Holly had a good idea. Really, what was your good idea? I use my pig for the A-shape bar. Yeah, like this. Yeah. I definitely do that sometimes too. The only drag about that is you can't do a sus easy. Like with this. You can't get that second end though. But for acoustic, yeah, I can see where it would definitely be a good thing. I'm going to go back to acoustic. Okay, so so what you want to know is that every one of these melody notes, you just want to know what's the note above it. You can do a reverse trill, and we'll talk about that, of Mordant. Okay, have a good dinner, Becker. Good to see you. And we are going to talk about vibrato too, different types of vibrato. And vibrato, you know, violinists go like this, but that's because they don't have frets. And so when you roll your finger like this, you can see how you actually would be changing the pitch. But with guitar, you have to go up and down. And technically, you're not going down. See, with violin, when you do a tremolo, when you do a vibrato, and you roll backwards, you're going flat. When you roll forwards, you're going sharp from the pitch, right? But with guitar, you can only go up. So people are used to when they see a guitar, they know they're not going to get a vibrato where the pitch is going below the original pitch and above it both. They're only going to get, like an opera singer will go, you know, here's the note, and the opera singer will go this on either side of the note. But people are used to hearing that. That's vibrato. They don't go, wait a minute, you're not playing below that note. So we're going to talk about that. I don't know if I have any exercises for vibrato, but we're going to talk about different types of vibrato. We may get to that today. But again, I'm trying to concentrate on maybe one musicality or embellishment idea per lesson, so that we try to kind of hammer them, so to speak. Okay, and that's actually what we're going to do right now. We're going to hammer. How's that for a transition? We're going to hammer and pull off a note. So I'm going to play this melody, and I'm going to do a Mordant, which is a hammering on the note above for each one of these. It's going to sound pretty silly, but. Right? That makes no sense. You can hear the melody in there, but you're laughing so hard you kind of forget what song it is. But there are definitely, I wouldn't do it, maybe you might use it there, but I would definitely use it sometime, you know. And so now there's a couple things. Let's practice this Mordant mini trill on the D note. So put your finger on the 5th fret of the A string, and there's our first note. And then we're going to go to the G. Okay, so that's our first 2 notes of the melody. And we're going to do the Mordant on the 2nd note of the melody, which is the G note. And we're gonna hammer on the 3rd finger on the 7th fret. And we'll talk about that in a second and pull it off. And that's the Mordant. Okay. Hey, Jacoby. Raise the bar. I know. I wish they would release it. It's not on this record either. No, but it was on the list of songs to be released. I think there were 5 songs that I co-wrote that were on the cards for the decision for. So I know for Changes it was an option. I think it's one of Josh's favorites. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hammer on the 3rd finger and pull off, and so you're gonna want to keep your 1st finger down. You don't want to really take. That's not gonna work. Okay. Now the hammer on. The technique with a hammer on is you really want to get the tip of your 3rd finger, in this case, kind of to go straight down onto the fretboard. Okay, and not really a good way to see this, but basically I'm almost trying to go like this, totally perpendicular to the fretboard. And my guitar teacher back in college said, try to drive your finger through the fretboard. Okay, and the other thing you want to do is you want to play at the 7th fret. You want to kind of make the finger not on the fret, but right behind the fret, because that way you're letting the fret do most of the work. Okay. Now I'm taking my 1st finger off because I'm not thinking I'm going to go back to it. See this? If that's my landing note, that's where I want to be. Then you don't have to leave your 1st finger there. Okay. But we're doing that. Okay. Okay, so the hammer-on is trying to drive the finger through the fretboard. And I've said this before to you all. You know, anyone who's been around for a while has heard me say this. You're not really pulling off. If I pulled off like that, like straight off, like I hammered straight on, it's not going to really work. Really, technically, a pull off should be called a pull down. You're pulling down towards the floor, like that. Yes, Zach, that's right. Classical electric guitar's neck is much smaller, or much narrower and a little thinner, generally. Okay, so when I'm hammering on, I'm hammering straight down onto the fretboard, and then I'm pulling off, like that, pulling down when I pull off. And you've got a couple options here. You can go, like that would be in time. Actually, I swung it. Or you could do it like what's called more of a grace note, and that's kind of nice, right? You could also do it as a slide. That wouldn't be a hammer-on pull-off. Technically, wouldn't be a trill, and you might have to get your 2nd finger on this note. You could probably, you could do it with your 1st finger too. Yes, the whole guitar is well, it depends on the guitar, but yeah, if it's a big jazz box, it could be this big. But if it's probably like a Strat, it's going to be much smaller, yeah. But the scale length is going to be the same. So the fret's going to be basically the same size down here. This is going to be basically the same size, unless it's a miniature guitar. You see? So this width will be narrower on electric than on a classical guitar. And so that'll be a little easier to play. The action will probably be a little lower too. At least it's easier to adjust the action, which the action is the height of the strings over there. So Jacoby's asked me about Justice. Justin called me in to be part of Justice. I spent a week in the studio working on it. Like 3 months ago or something. And Justin came in, and we had a really good time hanging out, with a lot of people. It was a big group of people. And then, but I don't think, I would know if I had something on Justice. They usually call me in advance and say, hey, you got a track on here, or I have to sign paperwork or something like that, or they send me $1 million. No, doesn't happen that way. I'm not made $1 million off adjusting, that's for sure. So that answers your question. I think I've seen Jacoby before. Okay, so that would be a. Now here's another thing. Another trick in the hammer-on realm that I might use in this song is I might hammer on, go right to start the song. So now I'm not doing a trill. I'm using the E as a kind of a passing tone. But notice I'm not using the F sharp. I'm just using the E. So I'm going from D, and then there's E, which is the 6th. If you look up at our scale over here, it's the scale right there. You can see D, E, and then G. So that's a hammer on, but no pull. That's not bad. But I kind of, that's kind of like a, that's a common guitar lick anyway. Right? So that would be pretty much expected from a guitar player to hear that kind of lick. And so that is a very common lick when your melody is moving in a 4th, okay? So if we look at D to G, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a 4th. Here's a 2nd, here's a 3rd, here's a 4th. So where else do we have a melody moving as a 4th? Well, it happens again in going from bar 4 to bar 5, the same exact thing. We also have it going from bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into bar 7, where we have the A going D like that. Okay, so let me do that same lick there. So we have see how it works there? Okay, let's practice this lick. We'll practice both of them. We'll do the one going to the G note, going from the D to the G, and then going from the A to the G, A to the D. Okay. Now, what I'm hearing rhythmically there is ba da 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 ba da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, da. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1. So I'm hearing a triplet there. Almost as if the song were in 9/8, not in 3/4. 9/8 would be 3/4 with 3 beat subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so that's the rhythm I'm playing there. It doesn't mean the song is in. What it means is it's got a little bit of a swing to it, maybe in that moment, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. You don't necessarily have to play Amazing Grace with swing. Okay, it just means that that's the. Yeah, it's called tab. Yeah. Yeah. Those are just the fret numbers, and they're written on the strings. So the bottom, where it says tab, the bottom line is this string, and then the next line is this string, and the next line is this string, and so on and so forth. So on the music, there's 5 lines, and that's always been the way with musical notation. But with tablature, it's 6, but the 6 just represent each of the individual strings. Okay, so let's play that. So we're going to play the D, hammer on the E, hit the D, G, and then hit it again. And when you hit it the second time, that's technically bar 1, okay? You see that? So I'm playing D, E, G in the pickup. So instead of playing Amazing going, right? Okay. And that's a cool little embellishment right there. Boom, you've actually added two notes. We had the D and the G, but what we've added is an E and another G, because we're hitting that G twice. So the first time we hit that G, it's actually still on the pickup. The second time we hit G should be on the downbeat. So we have 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Right? Now you really hear the swing when I count it like that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Bum, bum, bum. You almost hear a horn section playing that, right? Bum, 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 bum. Fall off that, you know, and that's another embellishment. Did I put that in there? I need to make sure I have fall. I didn't think about falls. I've got one that I'm going to show you that I use all the time, and Holly loves it. In fact, I showed it to Holly like weeks ago. We used it on one of the bluegrass songs, I think. And I can't think of a name for it. I don't know what to call it. Let's see. Desktop, YouTube ideas. It's in here. So did I write fall off in there? This is kind of where I'm accumulating all my ideas for this. Pull off octave. Oh yeah, I forgot about, well, just, so I don't think I did fall off. I mean, I could do a whole series on this. And the great thing is I probably use Amazing Grace just because it's public domain, so. I may shoot a video today. I haven't decided yet. I am shooting a video for a pop artist that I'm working with. Not Justin. And we wrote a song, when was that, last Wednesday? Yeah, 2 days ago. We wrote 4 songs in the studio, and he wanted to know how I played it. One of them, so he can try to learn it and play it. He's actually getting to be a really good guitar player, so I don't think he'll have a problem. I actually wrote, when I wrote it, I actually had his abilities in mind, so that he could play it, but I can't play it for you, sorry. Yeah, we did lose some peeps. You can't see the analytic thing, but it only got up to, Holly, the peak was 30. So we're right up in that range again. So sorry about that. I wish, that's 2 days in a row that's happened. It's kind of frustrating. Generally, I'm pretty happy with Charter, which is who I'm using. Spectrum, actually, I think it's Spectrum. Okay, so practice this. That's a good lick no matter what. But also the one I was playing before, like the fast country thing, that's not hitting the top note twice. I could also play this where I'm only hitting 2 eighth notes. So it would be like 1, 2, right? Okay, here's the difference. Here's 1, 2. So that's just 2 eighth notes. 1, or see, it would be beat 3. 3 and 1. 3 and 1. The triplet is 3 triplet 1. 3 triplet 1. It's like I'm playing the left hand, I'm playing the right hand, I'm trying to talk at the same time. Okay, that's the triplet. 3 triplet 1. 3 triplet 1. 3 triplet 1. Yeah, the tabs are for beginners. If you read music, read the music. Tab is guitar player, you know, cheat sheet basically. But those numbers refer to the fret numbers, not the finger numbers. David, I've got to nip down to the street to pick up the new X. I'll catch up. I love, David, that you put in all the Scottish embellishment. I mean, I can hear your voice when I read your chats. I got to nip down. It's not something Americans say. And pick up the new axe. I can hear your voice. That's awesome. Okay. But that's so you got 2 options there with that hammer on. You can go, all right? can do a triplet feel. So there's, and then the other one we went the other time, and I think those are the only 2 times where the melody goes in a fourth. So keep that in mind when you're playing a melody of something, and if you see a fourth, okay, and a fourth is, again, generally on guitar, it's this interval. They're usually on the same fret. The only time that's not true is to play a fourth on the second string to a third string to the second string. That would be the same. That's the same 2 notes. So D to G is here, and D to G here. You can see. I would still do that. In fact, that's a very common blues lick, right? Yeah, the thing that I was telling you, Holly, that you like is this. That thing. The other thing I tend to do a lot, and more so on electric than on acoustic, is when I've got a long note to hold, I'll often go up 1 scale tone and play that note. So if I'm holding a G, I may hit an A at the end. Let me see. Let's see if I can get this in. Like that. See what I did there? See what I basically almost simultaneously hammering on that E, even though the E's not the melody, D is the melody. I mute the strings. That's a vocal thing. It's also B.B. King would do that a lot. So I got that from B.B. King. I think he would do like like that. He would go, right? You see what I'm doing there? I'm on C, and then just at the end of the very end of the phrase, you could do the whole step. You could do the minor third. So that's just a way to, again, what we're really trying to do is I'm often trying to sound like a singer or a sax player or something. Kind of how would a sax player or how would a singer approach this song? And so that's often what I'm doing. Now I'm going too crazy. Okay, but again, we're going to stick to one thing at a time. There's so many tricks. I mean, I wrote them down here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I got 20. Is that right? I think I have almost 20 different embellishment tricks that you can do on a guitar. It's amazing because only a few of them are able to be played on a piano, which is yay. Sorry, Lena. Rubbing piano players' noses in it. Okay. You're still here. Thank you, Aslan. I appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, tabs take a while too. I mean, it is Sac. I don't know if you're still there, but Sac's still there. Yeah. It is all what we would call hieroglyphics, which is Egyptian writing. We don't know what it means when we first see it. So it doesn't have to make sense. But here's 5 5 4 4 7 5 7 5 5 4 4. That's all referencing fret numbers. Okay, obviously you don't have a 7th finger, so yeah, you're not going to probably. I have 6 fingers on one hand. That's just not fair, right? Where is that picture? somebody photoshopped an extra finger on my hand. I showed you that, right? Was I ever able to find that? Picture. gosh, I hate it when you double click on a folder to open it and it just goes into spinning meatball. It's like, really? I'm just clicking on a folder. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Isn't that awesome? So yeah, so it's really unfair that you imagine. Imagine if that were the case. It would be really unfair for me to teach guitar that way. So, oh shoot, it's buffering again. Gosh darn it. Come on, people, get your act together. It's not like it's even windy. It's just really cold here. So hopefully it's just a little bit. No, it's red right now. Oh, it's down to 0. That's probably Bruce. No, it's Alex. Alex. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're not doing well here. It's always the audio seems to do all right in this scenario, but again, oh man, I'm not even at 1 megabytes for upload. Are you kidding me? Yeah, not fast enough to really make this possible. Is everybody zooming right now? Is that the problem? Sorry. When in doubt, tweet. So, all right. Well, now I'm in the green again. Oh, nope, red. Dang it. So the thing is, if you're going to be playing the 8th note, which is just 2 notes, and then that, you can be it's a little slower. It's going to be literally 50% slower because you're doing 2 notes instead of 3 notes, okay? Or 33% slower than 3 notes. If you're going to play 3 notes instead of 2 notes, it's going to be 50% faster. There go the math. Okay, so if this is difficult for you, you might do it more just like, yeah. I think what happens, Bruce, is when it buffers and then kind of does a reset, it puts an add in. It's acting like the video is reloading, or you're starting the video again. That's why you're getting there's some 1-string songs you can do. We definitely learned them as a kid, as kids. But yeah, get your fingers, used to playing the frets. Try not to use just one finger, like typing with one finger. That's ultimately not going to work for you. You're going to need to use all your fingers. So, it's just not doing well. So, okay. So those are two options. I could it would reboot it. I mean, I think it would reboot my connection, but I could also use my phone, which is working fine, as a hotspot. But that song is called Peter Gunn. Yeah, that you can look it up. It's Peter Gunn. I think I'm going to sign off. I'm tired of this buffering. It's just not. I don't want anybody to be watching a video of me talking about buffering videos. Kind of ridiculous. And we lost a bunch of people, which I don't blame you. I would leave too. Yeah, upload speeds are not going to keep up. Now, Dennis, you said change the video. Let's see, video capture device. Can I change it here? Preset. Do that and then make it bigger. Except that's the wrong shape. Let me try. Okay, so this is, oh, this is nice because it's a little wider. But it's less, I think this is less pixels or less data required for this one. So I may stick with this for a bit, see if that helps. So I guarantee a lot of people wherever, whatever, are having problems with their Zoom meetings right now. So it's not just affecting us. Yeah, so that song is called Peter Gunn. Yeah, I think it's two N's, right? Bruce, does that look familiar? And it's in the Blues Brothers movie. So if you watch the Blues Brothers movie, you'll hear it. It's basically played like that. I don't want to play too much of it because I'm afraid I'll trigger some kind of copyright thing because that's still that song is not public domain. Now so we're kind of talking about hammer-ons and pull-offs, Mordants, which is a hammer-on pull-off. You could do that. I might do that one in an open string context because this one, that you gotta have your finger in two places at once. That's a little difficult. I wouldn't naturally go there. Like I said, I'm a guitar player, so I'm naturally lazy. Yeah. Let me just play for a little bit. I've never said trill or tremolo. Okay, let me show you another one here that just occurred to me. Similar to this one here. Now, it's showing green, so I think we're maybe good for now, but dang, we're down to 20 people. It kills Spectrum. So, right, we had this. right? So I did, that's the 5th to the 6th to the root. The other thing, keep in mind we're in G, okay? So the 3rd is here. That's the B. Here's the D, and here's the. So there's a little D. There's a little G chord right there. B, D, and G. So that one, I've got this built-in thing where I can go A to B, which is the 2 to 3, the 5 to 6, and then to the 1. Now that's 16th notes. See that? So we had just to get to that first note, we got all these options. We have as written, okay. We have 2 8th notes, 1, 2, and you could pluck them, but I'm hammering them on. Okay. And then, or I did the triplet thing where I went. I could also start on the B with a triplet, right? 1, 2, 3, 3 triplet 1, 3 triplet 1, or I could do 16th notes, a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2. You can play it like a. Also down 1, 2, those are 1, 2, 1, 3 and a 1. Those would be 16th notes. And so with 16th, with this, you could use 16th notes. So right there is another way to go from. So I'm not even really. I'm only using this note as a passing tone at that point. Okay. Oh, weird. Another add drop. That's weird. I know what's going to happen. I can't control the midstream adds through here. Not until after, like 24 hours after. That's so weird. I mean, I could turn off ads, but that's only, I'll turn off ads. I mean, hold on a second. I'll just turn them off. I mean, I don't make much money from these videos anyway, a couple bucks. Well, now it says we're up to 31 again. So that's weird. All right. Well, hopefully the buffering will stop. But I turned off the ads for you. So, okay. So I'm going to go a little bit longer, and I've got to get some work done. And I was up from like 1:30 to 4:30, wide awake. I think I had too much coffee yesterday. I got a second cup, and I never, ever do that. And so I usually sleep through the night, no problem. Richard Lawson's in the house. Okay. So where are some places? So the quarter notes you see, which are in the music, are the black notes, and then the ones that are empty in the middle, kind of hollow, those are the half notes. I'm probably more likely to do the hammer-on pull-off, the Mordant, on those half notes, where we have a little bit of time, than on the quarter notes. Like I did before, though, I showed you could do it on every. Almost like an exercise. That's what it sounds like anyway. It doesn't sound like music. So that's where you're taking musicality and embellishments beyond. You know, it's like the less is more is true, not more is less is less. No, it's less is more in some of these cases. So, but anytime but let me play the Mordant again. It's Mordant, but it's a trill. Like this is a trill, okay, and this is the classical term for one trill. That's a Mordant. Mordent, I think is how it's spelled. I'm mostly playing in the 5th position, but I'm kind of moving around. I'm more modeling embellishment techniques than specifically sticking to the tablature here. Obviously, I'm adding all these extra notes, so I'm not sticking to the tab at all. But so the first note I wouldn't do the Mordant, but on the second one, and then. That makes more musical sense. And generally what I'm doing is if I'm going to do that hammer on pull off thing, I'm getting my first finger on the melody. So if I'm going 1 fret, if I'm doing a half step mordant like that, I'm using my second finger and my first finger. If I'm going to go, so if I'm going to go put a mordant up here, just not going to do that. I'm not going to hammer on and pull off. Now when I do, I am going to create a slur exercise for guitar. I've got to kind of come up with something, but you will be, you will be probably. I don't know. I'm going to come up with something that's gonna hurt. I just know it. So I'll come up with something, and yeah, the buffering, we've been buffering a lot, but it's on my end, so it is affecting everybody. And it's going to be frustrating because this video probably won't get any views because people are like, I'm not going to deal with the buffering. But so sorry, Alex is texting me. Oh, and we lost everybody. Where'd everybody go? Down to 12? Really? That's weird. So, so putting and then so when I went up to this D, if I want to play a mordant or a trill on that note, I'm gonna get my first finger on it. So basically those trills are gonna largely occur. The mordants are gonna largely occur between the first and second finger, and the the second and third finger. Okay. Fortunately, that means nothing in the U.S. I don't know if it means anything anywhere else, but probably not. Okay. So you wouldn't want to do it on every half note, but I think the mordant works better on the half notes. All right. So we got all of that. You can totally do that. Now there's kind of two ways to approach that mordant. You can play it in time. All right. So in time would be, maybe you could do it as 2 16th notes, or you could do it as 2 8th notes. Here's what that would sound like. Let's see. See, when I'm pulling off, I'm landing on the beat on the beat. Sorry, I touched my face. Here's my coffee. Everybody take a sip. So we have. See, that doesn't really work. Those 8th notes, not so much. When we do 16th notes, it's going to be a little faster. So it's going to be like. Okay, so those are 16th notes. So the first one wasn't. Okay. That 16th, that's a little bit better, right? But a mordant probably would be, it might be written in music, the G and the A as little teeny tiny notes and as 2 teeny tiny 8th notes with a line through it. And that means that it's going to be a grace note if they're teeny tiny. And so if you do like a grace note, then it's the idea for the trill is to do it as fast as you can. Okay, so you're just there for a second. It's almost like it's like I said, it's as fast as you can do it. Okay, and so those would be considered more like a grace note, mordant. Does that make sense? Apparently trills start on higher notes as well. Yeah, I mean I could put. You could also go. You mean go below and come back up? Yeah, you can do. Yep, you can do that too. That's also. It's also a mordant. I would, if it's a trill, you're gonna go like that. But trills can be below or above. Usually you hear them above, but they can be both. And we will do the. So basically, what the trill needs the trill. Um, the the upward trill, the mordant that we've been doing, requires you to know what note is above the note diatonically. We're going to stick with diatonically for now. In the key. So we're just going to look at the half notes. Okay, so G. What's the note above G in the key of G? What's the next note up a second from G? Oh, this may take too long because it takes a while for you guys to answer. Because good, awesome, Zach. Technically, Alan's asking me if I'm playing in fifth position. Technically, I'm probably playing in fifth position, but I'm reaching down for the fourth. You're right. I would consider it that. I'm keeping dominant these three fingers pretty much in the running there. You could play, if you played in fourth position, yeah, you would be playing those first notes on. And that's not particularly very fun when most of the notes are being played with your second finger and your pinky. So I might, you know, if it were really fast, if this were a fast song, I probably would stick to position playing so I didn't have to move my hand. I didn't have to look down at my hand at all, if that makes sense. So note, Bruce, the note above G. So if we were to play G and then, yes, A is above, right, Guitar Dog. So the next note, the next half note we have is a B at the third string, fourth fret. So what note would we, what scale tone is above the B note, and that we would, F sharp would be below. We're talking about above though. We're going to hammer on above the tone. And F sharp would be the one below in the key of G. But the answer is A. So what's the one we're going to hammer on to on when we land on the B note? You go to B note, and what are you going to hammer onto? And pull off to do a mordant on the B note. If we were to go above an upper mordant. Let's see if Spectrum answered my tweet. No. Oh, you know that. Well, they already replied. It's pretty amazing how Twitter can, when you're dealing with corporations, Twitter is actually sometimes a good way to get results. I actually got, I was sitting on a tarmac in somewhere, and I tweeted to United that my flight just got canceled. I just missed my flight. Can they help me out? And they totally booked me through Twitter on another flight. So when I got off the plane, because we were stuck on a tarmac, one of those kind of things. So I'm telling you, Twitter can be real handy when you're dealing with a corporation. They oftentimes want, especially if you go on your Twitter page, and the key is to put like, don't just don't say at Spec or at whatever at United. Say yo at United, because a lot of times you'll see someone put a period there, but that's the way it shows up in everybody's feed, and that they know it's public. If you don't do that, it just kind of goes to them and doesn't get seen by as many people. That's a little trick. Yes, C is a half step above. Very good. And then the next note is G, and we already answered that question. So you would hammer on the A and pull off to the G again. Okay. Now we're going down, and you see in bar 4, there's a D note. It's a half note. Okay, it's that 5th fret on the 5th string. So what's the note above D in the key of G? One note up. We're going to do similar stuff like this with thirds. Okay, so John was asking about sixths and thirds and stuff, harmonies. We're going to do the same technique to find thirds. Okay, so we want the note above D in the key of G. So can threatening a Facebook live stream. Oh, that's a good. Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely do it. Very good, Jack. Exactly right. So when you land on that D note, you can hammer on and pull off that E note. Okay. Now you could do an E flat, but that would be weird sounding. On the B, you could go a C sharp, but that would be weird. You could do a D. You could go up a third, but that's kind of got a different vibe, and it's not really what we're looking for here, you know? So if I did the third on the B, so if I'm, oh, it's a, you know, that, in some ways, that's kind of Celtic. I'll tell you what that reminds me of. That's very bagpipey, right? Right? It kind of sounds like, you know, almost has that kind of bagpipey, I don't know bagpipes, but kind of something about that kind of sound, the hammer, you know, doing a trill with a third. Okay, so the next melody note is a G, bar 5, and that's a half note, okay, 2 beats, and that would be G to A, and then we have B, and that would be BC, and then we have a D at the end of the line. Oh, is my everything working? Okay. Then yeah. No, you need a teacher. You'll get better faster if you actually get a teacher. Okay, and then so D and then G, yeah. So everything we've done everything. Basic. Well, no, we have one note. We have one note. We have one time where we look at bar 9, 10, 11. The downbeat of bar 11 is an E note. Now that's one where Jack, we could technically, I think it was Jack. Oh no, Alan, you were saying we were in 5th position. We might have to jump up to 7th position to get our first finger on that E. But if I get to that part of the melody, so dun, 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 so the note above E, what's the note above E? Somebody? Anybody? In the key of G. The next scale tone after E in the key of G. Also, Zach, just so you know, generally when I play classical guitar, which is what you say you have, a nylon string classical guitar, I tend to play it like this. So I tend to raise my left leg up. I put it on a guitar stand, or you can put it on a box or anything. You could use the guitar case if you want. And then that way you've got this kind of thing going, okay? And that way your neck and your hand, your hand you can kind of balance the guitar that way. That's very common. I see even guitar players that will play like, you'll see there's a Picasso painting of a guitar player of his blue period where he's playing almost vertically like that. And I've seen guitar players do that. For here, I use a foot stand under my right leg, but only just, and now I'm kind of gotten in the habit of it. I do it all the time now, but only so that I can, so you can see my guitar. Yeah, F sharp is correct. Thank you, everyone. So that's kind of okay, you know. That's not bad. I kind of like it. Bringing that F sharp in there is kind of nice because the F sharp's not in there anywhere. So, and again, that melody could be. Sometimes it's E, G. I wrote G. So I don't know if that's the correct old school melody, but Bruce can't mod and think at the same time. No, Bruce, we're going from the E. Bruce is so busy reading everybody's comments. That's funny. And he's also at the same time he's carving my headstock. So on the cigar box guitar. If you go to the Discord, you can see his pictures he's posting. He's building me a cigar box guitar. He's taking his time so that I will keep doing the live stream because he knows I'm afraid if I stop doing the live stream, he's just going to keep the cigar box guitar for himself. All right, I'm done teaching for now. I'm tired. That's been an hour and a half of fighting with the internet. Now I should be teaching because the internet's working, but dang it, that just ticks me off. I'll see what happens. I'll turn the ads back on and see what happens because I think that's kind of a byproduct of the buffering. But I don't want to forget to turn the ads on this so when people watch it later, at least I can make a little bit of money. A couple pennies anyway. Funny we had a Bieber fan jump on. I wonder how well, people are always, the Bieber fans are crazy. They really know everybody involved. And so I'm pretty accessible compared to most of the insiders on Bieber. Most of those people, although Josh, who is Bieber's vocal producer and engineer and stuff, he was doing a Twitch there for a while, and you could get questions answered there. But I think the problem is I went to his Twitch to watch one of his videos, and like 90% of it was muted because he was talking about a mix that he was working on. Well, multiple times he was talking about mixes, and he was showing how he does mixes and the plugin. People are just asking him all sorts of questions. I mean, he would have 100 or more people on those live streams. I think at one point I saw he had 300 people or something like that on his live stream. And he just started doing Twitch, but he's so well known in the engineering community. See, I get all the beginners. I don't get any professional guitar players. If professional guitar players tune in, I could tell them a lot. I could teach them a lot, but they don't. So, Zach, that should happen on a classical guitar. It definitely, but you don't play the guitar flat on its back. You play guitar like this. So you've got, it should be bounced, and you can kind of hold it with your right arm so that you can fret. But the other thing is you can always get a strap, and then the strap, you can raise the strap up so that the strap is doing all the heavy lifting, literally. So let's see. Oh, and then, so Holly, you said that you were, let's see, you were adding to the, let's see. Oh, okay. You were did you grab questions from the live chat or live stream that day and add them to this? You got rid of, okay. Walk down chords, interesting. How to write lyrics effectively. That's a good question. A major, minor tonality, some. Okay, yes. Okay, so yeah, there's some great questions here. There's some great questions here. So yeah, I we got so many questions. I could literally do another live stream. I see them right now. Thanks, Holly, for doing that. And you got rid of the bullets. I don't know what was the issue that I was having. Oh, it's just the return. Because I was trying to fit. If I like here the AMA here. Oh, see now. Oh, I changed the. Okay, that actually kind of works. So what I should have done was this. I should have come up. I should make a graphic for Ask Me Anything. Okay, somebody wants to make. I'm afraid to add. I don't want a cheesy graphic. I'm afraid to ask for a graphic for Ask Me Anything. I bet I could Google. Let's see. Ask me anything, and see what I get here. Yeah, I mean, there's some cool ones here that I could use. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to use them. See, that's the thing, is some of these may be copyrighted. But with, and this was a question that Lena asked, and I need to think about this or do some research on this. But like if I do a new text thing, where's text? There it is. Yeah, sure, whatever. Paste. The hard part about this is making this smaller. Once I do it once, it should get easier. Oh no, that's getting a lot. Okay. See, once I do this once, then it makes it easy. But I have to grab it because it's it just defaults to this giant font, which I could probably change that somewhere. But see, I'm having to constantly grab it, make it smaller. It just takes forever. And I still don't see the halfway point on it. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. It just takes forever. All right. So I would still see. That's pretty good right there. See. Can you recommend any resources or books on chord progressions for different genres? If you had just stopped the question at chord progressions, I would probably say, oh yeah, get Chord Chemistry by Ted Green or something. That's pretty advanced stuff. He was a super geek, a super guitar geek. Well, when you're modulating between a half stepper and a whole half step, you're already right there. I don't know of, like, if I'm going from D over F sharp to G, like that, and there's no chord in between those, really. I mean, I could maybe something like that, but that's actually not between the chords. Osusu is asking. But if I'm going from F to G, I might use D over F sharp to G, not in the same key as F and G. F and G would be the 4 and 5 in the key of C. I could use F to C to G, because that creates kind of an amen cadence to the G. And that's a nice transition chord, but it's not in between. You could go, and that's been done too, right? Jimi Hendrix did that. But that's just going F major to F sharp major to G major. There are a couple I might do if I really wanted to have a transition chord between those two. Like I said, I might go D over F sharp to G. And that becomes essentially the 5-1 to G. But with the bass line, I'm able to move up. The other one you might use if you want to do a more of a gospel-y thing or a more blue R&B thing, you could use F sharp diminished. Something like that, where you just put a diminished chord in between chords you want to go to. And diminished chords lead nice up to the next chord. So just put a D minor, diminished 11. Diminished 11. I don't even know a diminished 11. Why would you play a diminished 11? So F sharp diminished. So add a, oh well. Well, but diminished already has the 11th. It has a, so it has, well, a flat 5, so that would be a B in there? Maybe. I don't know that I'd ever use that chord. But, you know, it's there. Easier that way. There's a F diminished 7, full diminished. So, but yeah, so the thing is that you added different genres. Well, that's, you know, because I don't really, I mean, blues, you know, there's blues progression. So what I would just do is take the genre you want to learn a song in. We could talk about that. We could do I could do a series on that where I talk about here's typical, but see, chord progressions like is there a pop progression? Oh heck yeah, definitely there are definitely some pop progressions, and they're always very diatonic and very simple. But they also change through the decades. So like the classic pop progression in the 50s was, you know, like. So we're going 1, 6, 4, 5. But like Justin Bieber's, that's another one where the very, very common progression is 1, 4, to 5, the 6 to 5, which is the only you. And that one, Rick Beato talked about it when he was talking about the 10 pop songs on Spotify a few weeks ago. And then he was interviewing Lukather and realized that that's the same exact chord progression, key, tempo, and melody as Toto's Going Home song, because he was doing some research for that. So he laid them on top of each other, and you can't tell the difference. And the Toto people know, and they're reaching out, I guess, to the Bieber people. So it's kind of a thing. But hey, yeah, I'm still here. A much better streaming now. It was you, Becker, that was causing all the problems. I know it. More singing, oh no. I don't know the lyrics to that, but but yeah, I think this might work for the Ask Me Anything because you can really see that. So I will leave this here. But Lena, I'll try. Oh, Lena, is Lena in here? Is she gone? She's probably gone. And I'm going on and on about this question. But if you Google, like, so let's say I go to Google or to whatever I use. I use DuckDuckGo. So you enter blues chord progressions. And there's this guy that went to USC that's got a and then you click, or you can enter the word PDF too. I always do that because then I'm likely to get somebody, you know, like some chart. So yeah, there's a bunch of them here. Here's one. Yeah, it's cool because you get variations. Apparently, Chick Corea did this one. It's kind of cool. So if you're in B flat, so this is just for. No, I'm sorry. If we're in F. Shoot, I'm sorry. I'm getting my windows in order here again. So if we're in F, you know, blues in F would be in. 5, 4, 1, 5. Okay. You know, we could also go 5, 4, 1, 5. That would be the turnaround. Okay. So leave everything. The first 8 bars the same, and then this is what Chick Corea did in one of his songs. It's really cool. It's freaking simple, but if you analyze it, it kind of makes sense. Because keep in mind, we're using all dominant 7th chords. So we're playing the blues. The 4 chord. And the turnaround is technically the last 2 bars or the last 4 bars. You can kind of think of that as the turnaround. Usually the last 2, but this is going to be a 4 bar. Well, technically it's, yeah, we're going to just keep the first, so bar 9 and 10 are going to be the same. But instead of going to F, we're going to go to A flat. And instead of going to C, we're going to go to F sharp. So check this out. I'm going to play. Okay, here we go. You should know where you are here. This is the 3rd line here. See how we lead that F sharp leads it, and that's just one variation on the blues, and there's hundreds and thousands and billions of them or whatever. And what's happening there is, again, we went. This is the same as the original, like the basic blues, and then normally you would go to F, right? Well, we're playing an F7, and one of the things about dominant chords, you know, one of the things you can do over a dominant is play the blues over it, right? Well, if I play a blues progression, I mean a blues scale, a minor F minor scale, I'm really got an A flat major chord inside there. That's A flat major. So I'm kind of superimposing A flat major over the F7 and creating that bluesy, you know, minor pentatonic. So that's how we justify that A flat 7 chord. But then how do we justify an F sharp chord in the key of F? Well, I'll tell you. It's called a tritone substitution. So normally in that scenario, the last chord of the 12 bar blues, the 12th bar would be the 5 chord, right? The C7 chord. Okay. Well, if we look at the C7 chord, we have, remember our guide tones? We have the B flat and we have an E. Okay. Well, that's the 7th and the 3rd. Okay. 7th and the 3rd. 7th, 3rd of C. Okay. That's also the 3rd and the 7th of F sharp. So F sharp 7 is a substitution for C7. This is true no matter what you're doing. If you're doing the 5 chord, if you're playing a 7th chord, I wouldn't do it over just a regular like. It wouldn't really work in that context. But if you're really using a C7 chord at some point, you can substitute F sharp 7 for that. It's called a tritone substitution because the bass is going down a tritone, which is the interval that's the two notes are as far away from each other as two notes can possibly be. Is a tritone. So we end up with. Kind of a cool one. Let's see. I just saw another. See, like I'm just looking for. Here's one, a B flat. So. Yeah, there's a million of them. So you can go to DuckDuckGo and enter. I came up with a bunch of them. I entered. What did I enter? I entered blues chord progressions PDF. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, this is what I entered. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change pop to pop. Jazz is going to be an insane amount. So it's taking a second to load. Are we having issues again? It doesn't look like it. Okay. Does Sam have Beato's book? Yeah, I thought about getting that. I should get it just to support him, but like I think he's doing all right. I need a book. I actually was gonna write a book back in the day with worship guitar stuff. Let's see. Yeah, they got G, C, A minor, F. There's basically a lot of pop, and I try to get away from that. I just wrote a bunch of songs, and we kind of got away from it, trying to do new pop chord progressions. But you're generally going to be dealing with the 1, 4, 5, and 6 of any key. So in the key of D, that would be D, G, A, and B minor, for example. Okay, so let's see, reggae. Let's see what we get with reggae. Reggae chords. Okay, this is interesting. What does this say? B minor to E to G to A. Interesting. I don't know. Right? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, and you know the thing is, here's the thing. The thing is, any chord progression. It's kind of like my guitar teacher used to get mad at me when I got my 175, and he said I would call it a jazz guitar. And he goes, "It's not a jazz guitar. You can play any type of music on that guitar." And I'm like, "Well, I guess that's true," but I always called it a jazz guitar. And he's like, "It's not a jazz guitar." It's really, I mean, there are jazz progressions, but I can take a pop progression like that one, you know, from the Bieber song. Anyone? Is that the name of the song? I could do that in reggae, right? Right? Or I could go faster and do ska. Right? I could do it jazzy. So the progression itself, 1, 1, 4, 6, 5, is not particularly any style of music. It's how you play it. So playing it, how you play it is more important than necessarily the chords in the progression. Does that make sense? I don't even know if Lena's here. That's funny. She's probably not even here. So yeah, so that's a good question. Also, if there's any questions to drop it in here, I'll try to. It's Beato. It's Beato. Rick Beato. Very, very Italian name. Beato would be, yeah, it's like the Beatles. No, it's Beato. Oh, yeah, yeah. You can get to download that's a great idea. Download the PDF and then have it printed for Kinko's. Yeah, I'm not a fan of PDF books. I mean, I bought this thing. You can get the PDF of this, but it's like. This is an amazing book worth having. I don't know if you can find them. They're hard to find. They kind of run out of them at Amazon. But it's just got what the vocals are doing, harmony-wise. It has the guitar parts, the drum parts. Even writes out the drum parts, right? Yeah, drum parts, bass line. And then if there's strings in there, you know, it's like pick your favorite, you know, like something in the way she moves. Hard to find stuff in here, though, but it's alphabetical. Yeah, here's something. So like you can kind of see see how many lines of music. That's only basically a lot of staves of music. So pretty much the entire catalog is in here. I don't yeah, Taste of Honey, which is a cover. So even covers are in here. That I'll find the link for it on Amazon. So if you're a big Beatles fan, it's just something fun to look at. I'll tell you what. Actually, if you want to learn to read music, I'm not saying it's a good way to read music. Okay. What I am saying though, one of the ways that you can get better at reading music is to start to follow. Let's see. Beatles complete scores. Oh, rent. You can rent it. Let's see. That's so weird. You can rent a book? How does that work? So let me get a link for it. So you can at least check it out. It says you can buy it for $62. That's what I've been paying for it. And I've been buying them for my composer. So I have them sent to my composers that I work with. You know, I find a good book like this and I just go, okay, all the people that I work for are getting one. So I sent out a bunch of those last year. Probably a reason why there are not so many around. But yeah, you can enter any. Yeah, Lena's not around. She would have jumped in. So. Yeah, Vito wants. I don't see a Vito here. Holly, thank you so much for putting the names there. Um, because that really helps me justify doing it. Like I see a question here from Paul, and I know Paul is lurking. So Mr. President, could you help me understand what a riff is on guitar? A riff is anything. A riff is a lick. There you go. How's that? A riff could be anything. It could be the hook from Day Tripper to the lick. You know how we're playing Amazing Grace. A riff is usually a small melodic idea, generally. So you have a question with regard to ragtime. Okay, so yeah, so these are good, Lena. Thank you for doing that. And then the answered ones. Oh, that's funny. Supposedly I answered this questions. That's funny. And I think Brett, we talked about books Wednesday about that. But what are the thoughts on treble boosters? Oh, that's interesting. Wow, boy, did I miss a lot of questions. Did those, Holly? Did those come up on Discord, or did those come up on the chat, or both? Oh, Hey Bulldog is great riff. That's one of my favorite Beatle riffs. And that one is which is it? Key is it? I mean, that's like it's almost too bad, the Beatles used that because they wrote that, because it's not, people don't really know that song, and it wasn't a hit for them, and it's just kind of isn't that that's on Yellow Submarine, which is not like one of their best records, and that would have made a great TV show theme, just that riff alone, but you can't do it without paying the Beatles, so it's a great riff though. Hey, another great riff is Money by, okay, but a riff can also be that's a riff right there. Okay. Thank you, Holly, for keeping tabs on. Did Michigan win, Sam, or who's winning, Sam? Or I'm assuming the game's over. Did Michigan win or did Maryland win? Yeah, Paradise City, or was it Sweet Child of Mine? Thunderstruck. I've got a cut on my finger. That hurts to do Thunderstruck. So, yeah, those are riffs. Those are like some. Anyway, but I will try. What I'll try to do is, I will try to answer, if I do an Ask Me Anything, I will do an Ask Me Anything again. Oh, you won. Okay, good. Oh, good. You won. Good. You must be tired. I'll try to answer the question if I see your name in there. So it's great that Holly put the name in there. Although I think, a lot of these questions are going to be questions that a lot of people have. That's kind of why I like taking them, because usually that means other people have them. It's been 2 hours. I can see by my stream here that you could see where we were fighting the internet. Oh my gosh, what a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna, so check this out and see. It's gonna be really big at first, but it's not. I grabbed this, you idiots. There we go. You can see where we had internet problems. And it's funny now, it's like getting into the 30s. Well, right now it's starting to settle down, but kind of getting into the 30s there, way late in the lesson, which is funny. So, but I will we'll continue on the embellishment stuff. I like I said, I think I've touched on several potential ideas for musicality and embellishments. I've touched on several ideas. I lowered the video size, so I don't know if you're watching on a big screen, it might be grainy, but otherwise, if you're watching on your phone or on a tablet or a laptop or a PC, this might be fine. So I think I will, Dennis, I think I'm going to stay at this resolution because I think it's a little bit less upload speed needy. So hopefully that will help us. That will, if it goes down to 0 or down to 200 or whatever on the kilobytes per second, we're going to be buffering. But it might delay it. Like if I used a higher resolution video, I was using 1080, I think. If I use 1080, I could very well, start buffering at 500, 600, 700 kilobytes per second. But with this resolution, it might lower that down to 300 or 400. So you might see less buffering even when we're having. Yeah, see Becker, I'm signing off. That's why it's dropping like a rock. So 26, that's what I have. 32 likes. So some of you like twice. Sometimes I'll like a video, unlike it, and like it again so I can like it twice. Okay, David Siller's back. Leaving my new axe on a chair for contamination. Or you just go crazy with rubbing alcohol. Oh, no worries, Becker. Hopefully you got some students today. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Did I turn the ads back on, I think. Let me make sure I did. Did anybody get an ad when I did that? Like I said, it does generate a lot of revenue, but I may do a video today. We'll see. I'm just wiped out. I kind of was up from 1:30 to 4:30 last night and woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a Mack truck, but I feel fine now. Yeah, page 1015, exactly. Let's see, how many pages are in this bad boy? Oh my gosh. Okay, there literally is a page. Okay, why? What do you have that book? Or did you just download the PDF illegally? There is a page 1015. You thought you were joking, or maybe you were serious? Let's see, what's 1015? Where is it? Okay. Oh, while my guitar gently weeps. Look at that. So you know what? You looked at the glossary or something. Yes, I've got page 115 or 1015 open. Sam, what's your question? Who asked that question? Where did Sam? It was Sam, right? Oh yeah. Look at a line in the Beatles. So. That's funny. Just A minor over G, D, F. It's a cool chord progression. A minor, G. So were you just messing with me, or did you really have the book in front of you? Oh, okay, yeah. Look at the chord progression. D9. Yeah. Well, for one thing, they have written here just a D chord. And a lot of times I think, again, some of that nomenclature, it's so funny, you've got that book. Some of the nomenclature back then, when they did, because this book's pretty old actually. D9 that would be D9 over F sharp, or it's one way to play it. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm playing a D, a D7, open up the first string, so you got the second in there, which is E, or the ninth. It becomes a ninth when you have a seventh. See, if I just played D over F sharp like this with the E string ringing out, that would be just D2 over F sharp. But it says D ninth, so that tells me there's a seventh. So it has to have D, F sharp, A, C, and E, all five of those notes. But this alone is not a D9 chord because there's no third in it. But as soon as you put that bass note in there, it doesn't matter where the third is. If there's a third in there, that determines whether it's major or minor. See, that would be maybe a D minor ninth, but this is D ninth. And that sounds about right. I think that's what they're doing. That's the chord he's playing there, not this. Yeah, I don't know why they wrote D there. It was like a default setting. The chord diagram shows this, but it's really this. Yeah. So, what's the next chord? I forget the next chord. But yeah, so that would be it. Just basically an A. It's not a hard chord to play. It's A minor with your second finger moved up here. And you can play all 6 strings. In fact, I'm sure they do. Now on the A minor over G, I doubt they're playing the A string. That would be too muddy. So he's probably deadening the A string with his pinky. Bruce just texted me. I don't know how far back I can go, but I think I answered that question, Bruce. And I don't. Where's timestamps on this? Where did that go? Where did those go? See, can I keep going back? See, I don't. See, it only lets me go back so far at this right now. And I remember seeing. It was Kobe something, Kobe something, or something Kobe, like Kobe Bryant, whose helicopter went over my house that morning that he died. Literally went right over my house. Yeah, so Bruce, you were saying that, I think the question was, did I work on... Oh, interesting. The Google moderator. The Google moderator, or you guys, you're the Google moderator team. You delete them. That's fine. But I answered the question. And I don't think I have anything on the new Bieber record, which I'm a little bummed about. But you know, I went in there and spent a week working on writing and stuff. But I'll tell you what, I made some great connections that week. I had a great time. It was great to hang out with everybody. It was almost more like a vacation for me. We may have gotten something out of it. I don't know if there's anything that's, because of working with, my name will stay attached to anything that we did. So that's good. Any other one-string songs? I can't really think of any offhand. I'm sure there are several, but yeah. So, but I made, I would say, 3 or 4 or 5. I made several reconnections because when we had the initial meeting, there were probably 20 of us there, and then including Justin. And then he kind of gave us the vision for the record, told us that the name of the record was going to be Justice, and then told us to come up with some stuff in that theme. And so we started working on that right away. I had a song idea right away, and we wrote that first day. We got a song pretty well established based on one of my ideas, and I don't know whatever happened to it. Well, oh, I know what happened to it. I think Skrillex has it, and also this All Day Long has it. They were both there. All Day Long's a really good songwriter, and Skrillex is also a great producer. And so I've since I've gone over to Skrillex's and done some stuff, written with Skrillex and some other stuff, and like I said, I met a lot of people, and Skrillex I've met before and I've worked with before, but to be reconnected in that context was really good. So it was ended up being a really good thing. So Miserlou. Oh, right. Miserlou. Yeah, that's right. Miserlou's another one. I did that on my TikTok, which I think somebody was just on TikTok on the web. So let's see. It's like I don't know how to spell my name. Okay, so here I am. Hold on. So I did a TikTok on Miserlou. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, I got to turn the volume down. Wow, really? Do I need all of this? I don't think I need anything after the. So here I do Miserlou. You can see it on TikTok. So you can follow me on TikTok if you want. I haven't done a TikTok video in a while, but it is a one-string song. I can play it so you can hear it, and you'll probably. I know you're pretty young, so I don't know if you'll recognize it, but it's a song from the '60s, but it was used in the '90s in a movie. But yeah, so you could play it with one finger, but it's all on one string, the bottom string. So that's Miserlou. And it was originally Tickdale. I think that's how you spell it. All right. I'm gonna take off. I gotta chill out and get. I haven't eaten yet today too. I'm like, I need to eat. So I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for watching. And Monday, the plan is to continue working on the musicality and embellishment.